Ah, hello. What's up, weirdos? Happy Tuesday. Happy Horror Review Club. What's up? We have a special guest today. Let's welcome in the chat everywhere. You know, you can vocalize even though we can't hear you. We have Zena from the real queen of horror. And how are you doing?
I'm good. Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for having me.
Of course. If you don't know, Real Queen of Horror not only is a fantastic YouTube channel, but also an amazing website that literally even I go to get my recommendations for like what's coming out the next month. That list is amazing. You always have so much coverage. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. So go subscribe in the description box of this video. And yeah, we're back to Giallo. We've been doing Giallo all month. And you've seen a lot of Giallo, is that true?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Before we even go into anything, we're gonna do recommendations. Don't worry. But do you have a favorite or like a Giallo that got you into it, like, or just the tops?
So it's between two right now. I actually have a list on my phone.
Oh, you do?
I know.
Amazing.
Who keeps a list of their favorite? I don't know. You never know.
You do.
When
Movie nerds do.
So, sharing is caring. Hold on, let me just go to my list. Okay, come on.
No, you got it. I'm also just gonna say hello, Mark, Martin, 8-Bit Horse, Larry, Dale. I'm screaming. Lopke Vision. How are you guys? Watch this now. Oh, Katie. Thank you all so much for being here. We also have two, I don't even know if you know this, but we're doing Horror Review Club twice this week. So it's about to be crazy town. We have it today, and we have it on what I thought was Friday, but is actually Thursday. But yes, did you find it? It's okay if you didn't.
I did. So, it switches back and forth. So I actually really like Blood and Black Lace from 1964.
Nice.
I think that was probably like one of the first ones that I've watched. And then I know like some people, they don't count Phenomena as a Giallo, but I do. So I think that it is a great movie. It makes me feel good about myself whenever I watch it. I don't know why, because,
That's the one with the bugs, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that one too.
Because she's being herself,
Oh my God. Yes. That movie is awesome. That's the first one I ever watched.
Yeah.
Yes, and the Blood and Black Lace. We haven't watched it yet, but we're watching it next Tuesday. We're gonna be talking about it. So
awesome.
That'll be fun. So I don't know anything about that one, but I can't wait to find out. So I'm glad to hear it's really good.
I have to tune in. I'm gonna tune in so I can find out about your thoughts.
Nice. Okay, cool. So now in the chat and also for us, any recommendations for the week? These can be movie, TV, books, podcast, horror, or non-horror related. Let us know what you've been doing. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You can go first because I'm still. I have one in mind, but I get nervous.
No, it's okay. Totally fine. So, what have I been doing? I've been rewatching Schitt's Creek, which obviously is not horror related, but it is bringing me a bit of joy right now, which I feel like we all need. So that's been really nice. And then I've been watching the Candyman films in preparation for Friday, which I am so excited. I need to get my ticket. Yeah, but I'm really excited to see Candyman, obviously.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Sorry. When do you plan on checking it out? Because I was trying to find out when, like, where I live, like, the movie theaters are open now, but everybody's going there. So you know how it is sometimes with a packed movie theater, you can't actually hear it.
Oh, and I'm sure it's going to be kind of a wild crowd for this one, I feel like.
Yeah.
Which, like, is, like, good and bad. Like, I enjoy the energy, but I do also understand that sometimes it's, like, hard to, like, take everything in. I'm going to see it on Friday. Because it is playing some places here on Thursday night, but I can't go on Thursday. So I'm either gonna try to, like, don't tell anyone, sneak away from work and do like a Friday afternoon showing, which would be, cool, but who knows?
Yeah.
And if not, I'm gonna try to go like to the one right after work. I think there's one like right at 6 or something.
Okay.
But that's my plan.
I like that plan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, that was it. That was like I'm doing videos on them. Because I've seen the first one a few times, but I'd never seen the sequels, and now I have seen them, and I have a lot to say, but I'll let those videos speak for themselves, because that third one is wild.
Yeah.
Wild. And also not wild at all. But anyways, yes. So what about you?
Okay, so I guess this is more of a recent watch, something that came out. I think it came out last year or the year before. Come to Daddy. Elijah Woods is in it, and I should have known that it was going to be wild because of him.
Elijah. He loves the genre.
He's so great. So basically, he plays like this man child who goes to go meet his father. He hasn't seen him in like 30 years. And, he realizes like, okay, there's something off about his father. And then on top of that, he's kind of a jerk, like just outright a jerk, And then he has like a shady past. But then, then he goes on this whole like dark adventure. And then even though it's like twisted and, there's some funny parts in there, which I'm gonna get to. Even though it's like twisted, it's kind of just about a son and father's like bond, like deep down inside. So I thought that was kind of cool. So it's like a horror movie, but it has like a little bit of heart. So that's like refreshing. And then the other thing is like, okay, so the part that had me screaming, like I was laughing, this is not really a spoiler, so it's fine. Sorry. But there's a police officer who has this theory, and he feels like, he was basically just saying that if you have raisin-shaped eyeballs, you're evil. And it was just like, what?
Oh my God. Like, what does that mean?
I don't know. And it was like this whole discussion in the movie where people were like that, like, what does that mean? Like,
no, I'm just like, how are my eyeballs?
No, you don't have raisin-shaped eyeballs. Okay. I actually checked my eyes too, but I'm not evil. But yeah, it just made me laugh. But honestly, if you haven't seen it, I believe that it's still on. It's on Amazon. I watched it like last week or so. So
cool.
Good time.
Nice. Let's see what other people have been watching in the chat. So we have. I'm scrolling up. Coolio. Oh, also hello, Crimson Butterfly. Glad you're here. What a great name. Lobkey Vision checked out Don't Breathe 2, which I have not seen yet, but I'm probably gonna wait for it to come to VOD because I feel like I've missed it's probably still in theaters, but I'm just gonna wait on that one. Night House. Yes. Have you seen Night House?
Not yet. It's on my list. Like I have it, and I might be watching it tomorrow.
Okay, cool. You gotta go. It's so
good.
No spoilers! No spoilers.
Okay.
It's so... Like, it's actually... Because I reviewed it, but it's kind of, like, hard to talk about without spoilers, honestly. So, like, I was like, I felt like I was being so vague. But it's just really good. It was so, like, an unexpected freaking awesome movie. Watch this now. Checked out The Last Matinee. Or you're about to check out The Last Matinee, which I think I saw something about that, but I haven't looked into it yet.
People actually compare that one to, or there were some people saying that it's very Dario Argento.
So maybe it's perfect for this month. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Let's see. Crimson Butterfly, the Tetsu trilogy are some good J horror movies. I have not seen those, I don't think so. Let's see. Mark, rewatch the 2 Fright Night movies. Hell yeah. Martin finished Buffy, the biggest accomplishment of the year. So happy for you. Also watched Jennifer's Body, another huge accomplishment. So happy for you. Sean watched Jack Frost, amazing.
Awesome.
What a funny time of year to watch Jack Frost. It's like 100 degrees in New York. I'm just like constantly.
Yeah, I heard that you guys have a heat wave.
Ooh, it's terrible. It's so terrible. 8-Bit Horse watched Terrified, amazing. Well done, everyone.
Nice.
So let's go ahead and hop into this week's movie. We were talking about Dario Argento's first full-length directing credit, and thus his first Giallo, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Which I always want to say plumage because it sounds more fun, but I guess it is plumage.
It does.
Like, I don't even know if those words are two different words, but I just like how plumage sounds.
Plumage sounds very, like, sophisticated, I
do. Yes, that's exactly how it sounds. This one's 1970, and if you wouldn't mind, do you want to take us away with a little plot?
Sure. So basically, there is this like American writer, and he is visiting his girlfriend in Rome, and she's a model, and she has beautiful hair. And
Yes.
then he's kind of having like writer's block type of thing. So he is visiting an art gallery. He's kind of like walking by, and that's like a really beautiful art gallery, by the
Mm-hmm.
way. This whole movie is just beautiful, anyway. But anyway, he witnesses an attempt murder where this woman, she's getting attacked. Like, oh no. So instead of running off, he decides to try to help. And this person is just like so mysterious. Like, what's happening? What's going on? And so somehow he manages to help her. He calls the police. And then, the girl, she's not murdered. She's fine. But then there's just something about this that he just cannot leave alone.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout the movie, he's just trying to track down this mysterious, killer. And it's a Giallo, so you see this mystery. I'm saying mystery, but I'm trying not to like spoil it. You see this mysterious killer,
Mm-hmm.
wearing like a black trench coat with a fedora and gloves, and traditional Giallo. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Then who knows? He could be the next victim, and that's pretty much what it's about.
Nice. I will also let you know that don't worry, we can do full spoilers because it was
Yeah.
everyone's homework here to watch the movie. So if they didn't, it's their own dang fault.
Uh oh.
Also, we have people in the chat saying that plumage is actually the correct pronunciation, which that would be thrilling. But I could Google it, but I'm not going to because I like the mystery. Okay, so as I already said, this was Argento's first movie. It's also the beginning of his animal trilogy, which I have not seen the rest of.
Right.
So this is the first one I've seen. But it's interesting because for me, because now we've watched kind of a lot of Argento this month, it's so cut and dry Giallo. A lot of Argento seems to have a lot more supernatural elements, more style even.
Right.
More blood even, and this one definitely feels more like straight up Giallo, straight up like this is a mystery, there's a murderer, we're gonna find out who it is by the end with a twist,
Right.
kind of movie. But something we have been enjoying doing throughout this month, because Giallo is I have not seen a lot of Giallo, so I'm kind of learning about it a lot this month, is some of the elements that appear over and over again. And it's funny because I'm starting to see like what is director based and what is actually like subgenre based, if that makes sense. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the things we see in this movie that we think are like iconic Giallo.
Okay.
The first one I'll say is the black glove.
Mm-hmm.
The black leather gloved murderer. We don't know who it is, but we get to see the murderer quite a bit, but they are not revealed until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to throw one? I can keep going. Sorry.
Sure. No, I was gonna say beautiful women. There's always like just
Yes.
gorgeous women that's in Giallos, like all the time. Like it's crazy. They all have perfect hair and everything.
Oh
like,
my god, yes. It's very, I mean, maybe is this the wrong reference? I was going to say the girl in this one's very like Goldie Hawn. Is that
She
right?
she looked like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad I didn't like mix up people. But that's what she
No.
reminded me of. Also, I mean, this is sorry. Now I'm just talking about the women for a second. I also love the 70s makeup looks.
Oh my gosh.
Like the all around eyeliner that's like really thick. It's like there's something about that I'm like, we should do that.
You know what? We should, but I would look like a raccoon. But they look fabulous.
They look fabulous. Yeah, you know what? To tell you the truth, I actually did a very similar look to that in my emo kid days in my youth, and I will say I did look like a raccoon. So maybe we shouldn't.
Aw.
Maybe we shouldn't bring it back. Next we have this super red candy apple red blood, which last week we talked about the New York Ripper movie, which though considered a Giallo was missing some of the key elements for me, and the biggest one was the blood in that movie looked so realistic, and in this one we're back again to that like candy apple, like almost looks like paint blood that I just like now I'm like in love with. Now that I've seen it in enough of these movies, like whenever I see it I'm just like, yes, like there's something about it I really
Right.
like.
That's true. That's true. I love that as well. It always looks so thick and everything, but there's just something I don't know, makes you feel. I know that sounds so weird. It makes you feel
good
good when you see it, right?
Well, it pops. It pops in this way that is like, and that's like something else we've talked about a lot. It's like the style of these movies. Like they're just very stylish, in their shots and their color palettes and stuff like that. And I think the red blood definitely adds to that, where it's like these big pops of color that are like part of the art, versus just like storytelling blood.
Very true.
Or something. What else? And feel free to put in the chat too if you can think of other things. Oh no, you go.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, and maybe this is off, but maybe just the ones that I've seen. They always seem, and I don't know if this is like a word, but there's like eroticism to it. Like,
oh yes.
not just only with the women, but with the men too. Because there was a woman who was murdered, and Sam, the guy from I was gonna say Orlando.
From Orlando.
He's not from Orlando.
Who is like truly a hottie, by the way. Like, he is one of the most handsome actors I've seen in these movies.
Yeah. He, from the United States, basically he goes to this woman's job where she used to work, and the guy who hired her, like the boss, like he said some weird stuff. He was just like, oh, well, I think that she was into women, but I'm not racist.
I wrote that line down. I thought that was the funniest thing I've ever heard. I was like, what are you talking about?
But it was also the way he was talking to him too. Like, he was like interested in him. But it's like the whole cast is like that. And I don't know, I noticed like in like Giallos, like a lot of people are just like sexual and stuff, you know?
I think that's definitely true. Also, I forgot to put on my Instagram story that we're live, so I'm going to take a picture right now. Ready? 3, 2,
okay, wait.
1. We are live, and I forgot to tell anyone. So, yes, the eroticism, sexual, whatever, like, absolutely seems to be a very key component. It's funny because last week, I might keep referencing last week's because it felt like it's also like the only non-Argento we've done this month so far that we do have some others coming up. But that one, have you ever seen that movie, The New York Ripper?
I have, but I'm not too crazy about that.
Okay, well, we hated it.
Okay.
Truly, I was like, this movie hates women, and I hate it.
Right, and that's what I got. Where it's just like, why do you hate women? So what did we do?
What did we do?
I don't know.
From start to finish, that movie really bothered me. But yes, but there are some giallos that are definitely much more sexual in nature, and then some that are a little bit more implied. Though this one did have a scene, actually, that I'm just remembering, where the killer comes to that woman and like rips off her clothes with the knife, which I actually forgot about till just now. So there actually is some more like more forward up front. But as you said, it is a lot also just in the personalities of the characters. And that also is like, maybe that's just also like a European thing.
That's what I thought. Like, maybe.
Yo, like, everyone's just making out. Like, when they're making out, like, Sam and his girlfriend, Julia, they're making out in the bed, and the neighbor's just, like, sitting there for a while, just, like, not leaving. And I was just like, get out of there! Like, what?
Right? Just go.
But yeah, so I think it's also just, like, I mean, I think people say that European movies are, like, chill with sex and, like, scared of violence, and American movies are chill with violence and scared of sex. I don't know where I heard that. Somebody said that to me once. Let's take one of these from the chat. So Martin says, once we know the identity of the killer... Oh, wait, never mind. I thought this was a Giallo fact. But let's read it anyway. Once we know the identity of the killer, I'm less sure how to feel about the eroticism of certain murders. Interesting. Something else that I read on the Wikipedia, which I did not register to me in the movie, so maybe you could tell me more, is that not only was her name's Monica?
Who's Monique?
Monique, yeah. So here's the spoiler. It was the woman we thought was being attacked at the beginning is actually the killer.
Oh,
honestly, Monica. I couldn't remember. Something with that. Honestly, a fun twist. Like, a very fun twist.
I agree.
But I read on the Wikipedia that it says somewhere towards the end of the plot that her husband was so it was so important for him to help cover up that she was murdering people that he murdered some people too. But did you get a sense of that?
I didn't. I'm wondering, did they try to? Because I know that the movie is based off of a book, so maybe. And I never read the book, so
maybe that's in there.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there.
Maybe that's very possible. But then Martin's other theory is predatory queer character much. Maybe, but I think it's more. I think for this character that is going on this murder spree, from what they say at the end, I think it's much more about her taking on the role of her attacker, and sexualizing the victims in the way that she felt she was sexualized. I think it's probably more in that lens. That's just my perspective.
I could definitely see that. And well, maybe this is kind of jumping ahead, but I have a question for you. Since we're doing spoilers and it's fine.
Yeah.
Did you see that twist coming? Did you know who it was?
Here is my issue. I ruined it for myself by accident. I'm watching the movie. I had the last 30 minutes left. I go on IMDb trivia because I was like, I wonder, I just like to always kind of see the facts because I assume they're going to come up in horror movie club. So I go and I scroll too far to the spoiler section and I see something about a woman being the killer. And I was like, what? So the answer is no, I wouldn't have seen it coming because I was shocked by that. But then I was also like, is it the girlfriend? I was like, is it Julia? But in general, I definitely did not see it coming. So by the last half hour, I knew it was a woman by accident. But I did not suspect that it was the original woman who had been attacked, which is, I think really cool. And I was trying to think, I was like, have other movies used that? It seems like such a good twist.
That is a good twist. And I mean, none's really coming to mind for me. Not saying that there isn't any, but when I first watched this movie, it was actually maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I have a friend who's he's really into Giallo and he's all about it. And we were just talking and he found out that I've never, I didn't watch it. And I thought he was going to just kill me. So I watched it, and, I'll get to how I feel about it. But basically, he's just really obsessed with it. So he was just giving me all the facts about it and everything going down the line. And when I first watched it, honestly, I did not see the ending at all. I didn't see her as the killer. But then thinking back on it, when you would see this mysterious killer, they look very petite, So, but that didn't click with me. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of oh my gosh, there's a killer,
Totally.
So it's just really interesting just to see the twist.
Yeah, and I think they do something smart where we don't really see her much after that first attack, right?
No.
By the end, when we see her in her crazy red hair, I didn't even remember the girl at the beginning had red hair. At first I was like, wait, who's that? And I was like, oh.
It was just her evil laugh for me.
That
she was
laugh.
just,
oh my god, hilarious.
Yeah.
She's you're all gonna die.
She should have just killed him and stopped laughing.
I know.
Then you could have gotten away with it.
I just got another, maybe this is just Argento and not Giallo based, but death by artwork or death by sculpture.
Oh, yeah!
In Tenebrae, he gets hit by that metal sculpture, and though he doesn't die in this one, he does get attacked by another sculpture. Very funny. Oh, I just hold on. Sorry. Okay, in 2 seconds, your video is going to get bigger and larger and then smaller because I just accidentally clicked something weird. But it's fine.
Okay. Maybe I should eat grapes, then that way people can get a close-up.
Wow. Okay, what else do we want to talk about? So, something else I just noticed in this movie that I haven't noticed in some of the others is that it seems much more focused on how crimes are solved. They're showing off this kind of newer technology with these databases and how they're going to find this person. We spend a lot more time in the police station talking about things than I feel like we do in some of the other ones.
That's true. Yeah, it just seems like the police officers or the detective, they seem very much involved, with this where I mean, but I feel like that's kind of with a lot of Giallos, where it's just like they're losing sleep, they're all about this, and then they're just in time to save the day.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
just in time.
there's always some type of like happy ending.
Yeah, and that's Oh, we'll talk about the end. Actually, let's hold on to the ending for a second. Another thing I would have mentioned that I'm starting to see in more and more of these movies is also like the phone calls of like the killer calling either the police station or the lead character and like talking in a scary voice. Like I feel like I'm seeing that more and more. Like that happened last week with the weird duck voice.
Oh my God, that voice!
I know, it's so ridiculous. I know, I'm pretty sure it was in Deep Red. Now this one. So that's also becoming, because the first week I think I was like, oh, this reminds me of like American slasher films of having this like spooky phone call thing. And I was like, oh no, this just might be in like all the Giallos. So it's kind of interesting. Not that we need to jump to the end because we can just jump back and forth. But I also just want to ask, that plane sequence at the end, did you feel like unsettled by how that was cut?
Yeah, like okay, not that I'm trying to defend Dario Argento. This was like his first movie, and I think for his first movie, like he did like a great job, you know,
yeah, for sure.
Because he's like this was before he was like the Dario Argento that we all know, like wow, master man, or what. I know that's not who calls him master man. Nobody, but
we will now.
Okay, thank you. But so you get it. So he's you know, this was like his beginning career, kind of like put certain things in place. I think that if we didn't have this movie, we wouldn't have Suspiria. We wouldn't have like a lot of like his classics. So I'm trying to forgive him for that because it really did feel out of place. Like, I guess maybe they wanted to just, you know, have like a wrap up. I would have rather that the girl that they, you know, police got her and then that was that. It ended. You know, I don't know what
like it almost felt like it almost felt like it was trying to create tension with these fast cuts of like, oh, maybe the killer's on the plane or something. Like I thought they were trying to create a build again, and then it was like no.
Right.
I was like, what?
Yeah, no, honestly, I felt the same way. Like I mean, that's a good point with the build. I didn't know what they were trying. I don't know. I thought that they were just trying to be like artsy.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe. I mean, that probably is what he was trying to do. He's like, is this arts? Is this art?
No.
But yeah, no, that scene was weird. But I did really enjoy, kind of the TV. It kind of like brought me. It brought this one more full circle to me in terms of like what I understand to be like true crime stuff, where it's like, okay, now we're like solving the case. It's like a public thing, and by the end they're like doing their interviews on TV about it. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, and thus kind of brings me back to this one being so much more of like a straightforward murder mystery than some of the other ones.
That's true, and I felt like, you know, it felt like a murder mystery, and even though it's like it's horror and people, you know, murdered and all that stuff, it felt more thriller. Because even when you were saying in the beginning about how, you know, there's not like a lot of blood, you know, there's not you don't really see gruesome scenes like that really in Giallos anyway, but especially with this one, so it kind of felt more like a horror thriller, you know, which isn't a bad thing, but it just felt more tamed, you know.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to move to the chat for a hot second until we can think of something else that maybe shows up in here. But Watch This Now says, I love how when our main character comes across the crime scene in the beginning, he's looking through a large glass window, almost mirroring us as the audience looking at these horrific crimes. Ooh! Good point. I like that.
That is very true. And I think that that's probably like the most memorable scene, you know, in the movie.
Definitely. And just the idea of like being able to see something happening and but you just can't quite get to them.
Right.
Is very scary for sure. And what a good actress she is. She's like, help me.
Right? Yeah. I believed her.
Me too. And then it's also like, I wondered if this was gonna go further too when they get there, and then like they you know, kind of question him, and they're like, well, maybe you just did it, and then you tried to run away and you got stuck in these glass doors. And I was like, maybe.
I mean,
It was a funny thought. I was like, of course he's gonna like, he's like trying to save the day, and he like becomes a suspect.
right.
Oh wait, I also have. So I wrote down a couple things throughout. I just want to come through this list for a second. I wrote down the quote. So the scene where they bring in all of what they call the perverts, and he says, "Bring in the perverts." And this big line of people comes in, and they're trying to like see if like one of those people is the person, and then the trans woman comes in and she's like, "I'm not supposed to be here," and they're like, "No, you're not supposed to be
Oh
here."
my gosh, that's mean. No. I remember that.
Yeah, but she's also just like, "At least I'm not a pervert." Like, I was like, "This is crazy."
She's not a pervert, so
no.
And I just love how he just said it like casually, like, you know, yeah, we have perverts, so just bring them in, you know. Yeah. It's just like, okay.
It's so ridiculous. Let's see, what does this say? Detective. Oh. What does this say? Wow. She likes women. Oh, that's that line. She likes women. I'm not racist. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like
we've already talked about that. And that guy in general was just like a very funny character. Like he only had one scene, and I was just like, "Who are you? What is your story?"
Right? I wanted to see him again.
Yeah. Me too.
I liked him. I would hang out with him. He just needs to like get it together, you know.
I know it. We've also been told. Oh, this is cool from 8-Bit Horse. I think the opening death scene was imagined by a set designer. So much of it relied on that specific layout of the room building. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, especially because if it, you know, with it being Dario's first movie, he probably did, rely more on the crew. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, it just kind of makes sense. Very cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So now I think we can kind of take a moment, and I know this one doesn't have as many kills in it as some of the other ones. But let's go ahead and start talking about just kind of our favorite moments. If there's any images that stood out to you a lot in this one, any shots, stuff like that. You guys can bring yours in the chat. You can think for a second. The one that stood out to me was, and I was kind of waiting for it because I was on that freaking IMDb trivia facts page, which was a bad idea. But the scene where the husband falls out the window and hits the floor and hits the sidewalk. So I watched it and I was like, oh wow, like the camera, the way that it's shot, like literally hits the sidewalk. And on the IMDb trivia, apparently they were like, yes, we just dropped a camera out the window and let it hit the sidewalk, and the camera was destroyed, but the film was fine. And I was just like thinking about how expensive it was to have a camera in the 70s.
That's pretty awesome, though. Like,
it's very like badass. It's like, oh, we're gonna get this shot. Just drop that camera.
Yeah, what if the film was destroyed? But whatever, it worked out. Things happen for a reason. I love that part as well. I guess this is just kind of weird. Because it made me uncomfortable. So I don't remember his name, but it was this guy who was selling his art.
Oh, I totally forgot about that whole scene.
It was just uncomfortable. First off, where's your door? He had to climb up a ladder, to get inside his house. Then he gets in his house. He randomly just eats meat. He doesn't even know what it is. Then we find out, like, he's like, oh, get down. Like, I'm thinking that someone's going to come in. No, he was just wanting to get a cat so he can, like, put it away. Because it plumpens the cats. And he has a room full of cats that he eats.
He eats the cats!
He eats the cats. And it's just like, no!
And that means Sam ate cats.
He did. And it's just like, that was so horrible. But, I don't know, it was cool because it's like the guy did not fit in the movie at all, He
was in his own movie.
Pretty much. He needs to have his own spinoff. Like, how did you become this man who eats cats and you don't have a door to go through? You have a ladder window or something.
I forgot all about that. I also have to say this. The painting that everything's based on, and then you go to his house and all of his paintings, I was like, he's kind of a bad painter. Am I wrong?
You're not!
I was like, these are kind of lame. Especially because I was thinking back to like, yeah, Deep Red, where like those paintings on the walls are like super freaking creepy and like dark and like whimsical, and then these were just like, it's like little characters being like murder, and I was like, this is not good. And then he eats cats.
That's what makes it worse. Like, I was willing to accept his artistic vision, but then, you know, you can't vibe with someone who's eating cats.
No.
Like,
no. And he's clearly like a struggling artist as well, because he's trying to sell him this painting, and then he just like keeps dropping the price, and then eventually he just throws it out the window. And I was like, what?
and it's like, do you think that he leaves his house? Because I don't. Like, he doesn't, right? Ever.
He's for sure like a recluse, like, no, he does not leave his house, for sure.
Explains a lot.
How did we get the, wait, where did the painting come from in the first place? How did they find the painting? I kind of forget that. It's okay if you don't know.
Like, I thought that that Sam somehow like tracked him down or something, and he thought he could get more information. But then, like I said, it just, that particular scene, even though it's not scary uncomfortable, it's just uncomfortable because it's just kind of gross. Yeah. And on top of that, it just doesn't fit into the movie.
It's very different.
Right. So honestly, it just blended right in, and I was just like, okay, this scene is done, and I didn't want to, like, you know, go back and rewatch it because I already lived through it enough, you know?
Absolutely. And it also stands out in just terms of like style, color palette, like everything. It's just like a very random. But once again, as you said, like, this was his first film, and it's kind of clear that he hadn't really established his style yet. Mm-hmm. Like, it kind of feels maybe more like what he saw other people do, and maybe that's just like a guess. But more of like the general. What year was the Black Lace movie?
64, I believe.
Okay, wow, you're amazing. So thus, yeah, I wondered if this. It's fine. I wondered if this first movie of his was much more like trying to create a successful thing that was already working in the film world, and be like, here's my version of this exact thing, and then like over time we start seeing like his artistry come out. Maybe.
I think so too. Just because like okay, so I watched other Dario Argento movies before this one, but I think say if you're someone that's new and stuff like that, or say if you didn't even know that this movie was a Dario Argento movie, I think there are certain things that you would say like, oh, hey, that seems very Dario Argento, but then that's really it. You know, I don't know if you would fully even feel that way. So I agree. Yeah. I don't think that he really had his style yet. I think that he was probably just experimenting.
Yeah, and trying to, you know, make this his career, like try to make his first big movie. Yeah.
Plus, I actually read somewhere that this script was written in like a week. So
that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like people now are like, I've worked on this screenplay for years. He's like, I have 5 minutes. Martin gave us our answer. The art shop with the owner that we talked about. One of the victims worked there. Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Ew, she worked with the cats. She didn't call the cops.
No, she worked with the guy that was like, she likes women, but I'm not racist.
Okay. Yeah. That guy. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know how they were able to get to the other guy. The guy who's like
I don't know. I also don't know that. But that's also like kind of the theme with Giallo month in this Horror Club, is sometimes not all the plot stuff is clear. It's just like some things you're just like, okay, we just got from here to here. They don't tell us how we got there, but we're just in the next part of this movie now. Like,
and you just have to go with it. You just have to accept it.
Yeah, it's just so much more about other things than it is about like actual like plot and story, which it is kind of nice. It's like fun. It's fun to like experience a different, non-American formulaic structure. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. Nice change.
Yeah. Okay, so we only have a few minutes left because we're actually going to hop off of here at 8:45, so sorry to tell you. But is there any last thoughts you want to give before we hop off?
if you if you haven't seen this movie, I recommend just, giving it a shot, especially if you love Giallo, if you love Dario Argento. It really is unfortunate because I feel like this one is like underrated, not saying like it deserves like all the cookies and cream in the world. Maybe, I don't know. But it just deserves more love, Some of his other movies, they get like a lot of love. And I feel like this one should be up there.
I did also see that this movie in Italy was huge and ran in the cinema for like over 3 months. Oh, wait, 3 years. I meant to say 3 years.
Wow.
Which is much more impressive than 3 months.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah. So at least I had a really big audience over there. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and take us through the rest of the month real quick. So this Thursday, not Friday, at 10 p.m., we are going to have Emma from Spooky Astronauts talking about a lizard in a woman's skin. Exciting. And then on the next Tuesday, a week from today, we will be talking about Blood and Black Lace and also Knife and Heart. We may have a special guest. We may not. No promises, but I'm not sure yet. And that's it. And that'll close out our Giallo month. But thank you so much for being on here today. Once again, everyone, go subscribe to Zena's channel. It's in the description box below. Follow on Twitter, etc., etc. And is there anything you want to plug? You just put out a video today, didn't you?
Oh my gosh, I did. Yeah, I went on a 2-month hiatus because I was taking some classes.
Oh,
I took
nice.
a cinematography class. I don't know.
That's awesome. Fun. That's cool.
Yeah. I just wanted a little break and stuff. But if you want to check out my channel, if you want to subscribe, that'd be great. I'm always on Twitter all the time, Lovely Zena, and I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Real Queen of Horror.
Nice. But what was the video you put out?
It's actually top buses in horror. So I was watching Sion Sono's Tag the other day, and I'm like, this is crazy. And that bus scene lives in my head rent free now.
Oh my god, I've never seen it, but I have to watch your video.
Oh my god!
I love how specific your video concepts are. I can't wait to watch that. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I was gonna do like a whole back to school theme because there's so many back to school horror movies, and I know 'cause I live in Tampa, and it's so weird because the kids down here, they start school the second week of August, but when I used to live up in New York, we started school in September. So there's a good span to do some back to school stuff, but we'll see. I don't know, maybe a little razzle dazzle. I have a couple of videos on backlog I may put out.
Nice.
So.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, well, thank you all so much. Thank you for being here at Horror Movie Club, and have a nice scream. Bye, y'all.
Thanks.